portion of your uh, BEC assignments for the first 2 weeks of our course. The CPA exam has one testlet consisting of 3 separate written simulations, and these simulations can be anywhere from business memos to letters to other types of business communications. And the purpose of the written simulations in our course is to familiarize you with the techniques for writing effective written simulations so that you will score the maximum points possible for written simulations. Now, the written simulations on the BEC portion of the CPA exam are, in terms of weighting, are about 15% of the total points. Why that isn't an extraordinarily large amount of points, it can have a major impact upon you if you are in the marginal areas where, you're, depending upon a point shift, you can either pass or fail the exam. So it's best to take the written simulation portion very seriously and practice for the maximum amount of points that you can earn in the BEC portion of the exam. Now, in context of our course, the grading points that we assign to the written simulations total 60 points. That's 60 points out of 1,000, which is 6% of our total grading points. And again, this is not a major or a very significant portion of grading points, but again, if you're in marginal areas such as a B, between a B and an A, or between a C and a B, these additional points, or these points, are going to be of significant help for you. So again, I would urge you to take these seriously. And again, I know most accounting students do not like to write. However, this is an area that you really need to understand how to write. Now, looking at the description of how the written simulations in the syllabus, it says, as with the aforementioned multiple choice questions, the key to successfully preparing for the CPA exam is to practice, and that's practice your written simulations. Every time you practice and follow the outlines, you're going to get a little bit better, and you have a better chance of accumulating additional points. Now, during our course, students are going to be assigned 3 written simulations, and they're going to total 60 points, as I mentioned before, towards your overall course grade. That means if we have 3 simulations, they're going to be worth 20 points each. Now, each simulation is evaluated separately. There is a rubric for each written simulation that awards written simulation points based upon, okay, is the memo or the business communication that you write, is it on topic? If it is not on topic, the simulation doesn't go any further, and it will be given 0 points. And again, when I say on topic, it does not have to be technically correct. But if you are asked to write about the color red, you don't go writing about the color blue. So keep that in mind. Also, there will be general areas of organization, and you can be given between 0 and 6 rubric points. Development, where you can be given between 0 and 4.5 rubric points, and expression between 0 and 4.5 rubric points. Now, you probably, or hopefully you'll remember from our in-class presentation or the recording, that I have established criteria around each of these particular whether organization, development, or expression. Uh, I've also given you a detailed checklist which can help guide you through the writing process in terms of what needs to be included versus what doesn't need to be included. Now, if the simulation you write earns 11 or more evaluation points, the simulation assignment itself will earn 20 grading points. Otherwise, the simulation will earn 0 grading points. So you're going to have to establish, or you're going to have to accumulate 11 evaluation points in order to earn the 20 grading points for the simulation. If you get less than 11, the simulation will earn 0 points. If you turn a simulation in late, even though it earns 11 plus points, it will only earn 10 grading points. Now, where do you find the assignment for the simulation? And again, it's very easy in the syllabus. You go down to the first week sections, and that would be May 29th and June the 5th. And if you go down to the graded assignments, you can see at the bottom, written simulations 1, 2, and 3, which are posted in the classroom, are assigned on May 30th, and they're due on June the 11th. Now, the good news as far as written simulations go is these are the only written simulations that you're going to have within the course, and those are going to occur in the weeks beginning 5/29 and 6/5. Any other simulation will be what we call task-based simulations, and I'll have an introduction video on task-based simulations here in the next week. Now, you can also find a copy of the simulation assignments if we go to our classroom. And here you can see our classroom announcements, and you can see within our announcements I have all the topics covered, all our tasks, and part of our tasks include under graded assignments, written simulations 1, 2, and 3, which were assigned on 5/30 and due 6/11. Also, I can go down to my assignments and tasks section, and I'm going to see the same information where I can see all the topics covered in my tasks, and again, written simulations are going to be included. Written simulations number 1, 2, and 3 are assigned 5/30 and due on June the 11th. Now, if I want to access and work on a written simulation, I go down past my videos, past my multiple choice question activity report, and then the next 3 items in this case will be my written simulations. Written simulation 1, written simulation 2, written simulation 3. Now, as far as it goes, all of these written simulations are in exactly the same format. So if I'm showing you a simulation 1 as an example, it is the same as the other 2 simulations. So if I want to work on the simulation, I click on the link that says Submit Written Simulation Number 1, due June the 11th. I click on that. It tells me again my due date and the time it's due, the points that are possible, and then I also can view my rubric, how many evaluation points will lead up to those 20 grading points. So I click on View Rubric, and what I can see is I ask a question, is the document on topic? If it's not on topic or the author suggests illegal acts, you'll get no points for the written submission. Okay, in terms of organization, you will get between 0 to 6 points, and it provides you the criteria that I will be using in order to grade you on organization. Development, it is between 0 to 4.5 points, and again, I provide the criteria that I will be using in order to award points. And the last area is expression, and again, 0 to 4.5 points. Proper grammar, punctuation, word usage, and so forth. And again, it says each simulation will be given rubric evaluation points. These are the points right here. 0 to 6, 0 to 4.5, 0 to 4.5 for organization, development, and expression. If the written simulation earns 11 points or more, or 11 or more evaluation points, the simulation assignment will then earn its 20 grading points. Otherwise, the simulation will earn 0 grading points. So let's exit this particular rubric. And by the way, the rubrics for simulations 2 and 3 are exactly the same. Okay, now let's assume that I want to work on my simulation, and at the same time I also want to have my simulation checklist available so I can, as I work my simulation, I can review it against my checklist to see if I'm including all the items that I need to include. So I'm going to click on these two links, Written Simulation and the BEC Written Simulation Checklist. When I do that, I'm going to get, first of all, the Simulation 1 assignment. And let's take a look at that for a second. And what it says here is, with the passage of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act in 2002, the Securities and Exchange Commission asked the New York Stock Exchange and the National Association of Securities Dealers to develop additional guidance to companies on the role and membership of audit committees in order to improve the effectiveness and independence of audit committees. In response to an inquiry from a senior manager of a company, so it infers that you are a CPA or you're working for a firm and you're going to be responding to a client. So in response to an inquiry from a senior manager of a company that is considering going public, write a memo discussing the expanded role of the company's audit committee in light of the provisions of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. Type your communication and the response below, and again, it's in a memo format to the senior manager regarding the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. And then you can start, utilizing this worksheet, you can start typing in what you need to type in, or you can do your outline first and then type it later. And as you go on, you can keep typing. And when you're done with that, then what you'll want to do is take your simulation and then you'll want to save it. And you do a save as and determine where you want to save your simulation. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to overwrite anything in my system right now. But let's assume I save written simulation to my computer. So my work has been saved. Now what I can also do at the same time is I can take a look at my written simulation here, and I can compare it also to my, whoops, I'm sorry, I picked the wrong thing, my BEC written simulation evaluation, or if you will, checklist. So I can go ahead and take a look at what I've written and then use this checklist to determine whether or not I've been able to cover all the particular items within this checklist. Now, I know there's a lot of items, but again, most of these will become second nature or intuitive as you go along. The point is that the more times you practice, the better you'll achieve this checklist. So again, I can go ahead and save simulation 1. Let me put this checklist away for a second. I can go ahead and save simulation 1 to my computer. And then I can go ahead and browse my computer, and then from the simulation, and I'll just click it out of here as my save simulation. Click that. And now I've attached my written simulation file to my submit written simulation location. And then all I have to do then is submit the entire project. And I do that, I simply do submit. Now this one will not work because I'm doing a preview. You notice submission from previewed assignment is not saved. But you'd want to see that the submission from the assignment is saved to make sure that information now is saved within the classroom. And then later on, I will review your assignment. I will then grade it against that checklist, or not the checklist, but the rubric. And based upon that, then I will you'll either get 20 points or you'll get 0 points. I would assume most people, if they take a reasonable amount of precaution and use the checklist, will get the full 20 points. So with that, that is basically that's for simulation number 1. I'll go back down here. You also do the same thing for simulation number 2 and also simulation number 3. I'll also warn you in advance that performing these written simulations take a little bit more time than you may expect, because probably most of you are not as used to them as you probably would like to be, or you should be. So just keep that in mind, and also remember that when you take the written portion of the when you do the written communication testlet, you're going to have approximately 12 minutes per written simulation. So practice on repetitiveness and speed and technique. So with that, that is the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.